Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well today. Well, you can see what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about Riyad Mahrez and how he's doing at City right now. Obviously, we heard some news over the weekend. I think it was Saturday evening. It was a misquoted translation of an interview he did for Canal Plus with Ben Mendy. And I think Mendy was asking him about Marseille because apparently Riyad Mahrez was a Marseille fan as a child growing up, talking about either playing for Marseille or PSG, and whether he'd go to Marseille if he had the chance or whatever. And Mahrez basically said, "Look, I'm a Paris lad. I grew up there. I've got a contract with City, and I'm happy here." Blah blah blah. So another news outlet come out and changed it a little bit. Mahrez was very annoyed because they turned it around and said, Mahrez said, "Look, I've got a contract at Man City, but who knows? Who knows if they come and knocking? We'll see." Something like that. So obviously, Mahrez put that to bed. He said that was just made up clickbait journalism, not the best. But we've got to look at Riyad Mahrez. I talked about it last season, issues I've got with him, and basically saying I don't think he's up to the mark. Now, before the start of this season, I did a little video for an Algerian channel, I think it's DZ, and that was basically, I said, look, Mahrez needs to up his game. Even though I had him down as one of the top 3 players last season, with KDB and Sterling, let's say, I had him up there, but I said he needs to up his game. Otherwise, you'll get this kid, Torres, could take his place. Yeah. Now, Mahrez, I'll go through his numbers in a bit for what he did last season and why I'm disappointed overall. But as I said, Ferran Torres looks exciting. Now, it might take him a little bit of time, like most new players. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the Premier League and Pep's tactics and everything else. So that might be the case with Ferran Torres as well. But I said, once I think he's got his confidence, once he's got the confidence of Pep, and Pep trusts him and has faith in him, then he's 20 years old. Mahrez is 29. I can only see it going one way. Mahrez, for me, isn't getting better. Ferran Torres will get better. And I said maybe a few months into the season, Ferran Torres will take over. Maybe it takes to the end of the season, but Ferran Torres, for me, will take over. And if we get Messi, Mahrez is gone. If we get Messi next summer, there's no future for Mahrez, in my opinion, at City. Because if Messi's going to play on the right, where does that leave Mahrez? Does he have to play in the middle? I think, depending on what happens with Pep and everything else, we might go for a big splurge next summer. Especially if there's a vaccine for COVID and fans can start going to the games again, because that means City will get an income of between 50 and 60 million pounds extra every year. And we'll use that to buy new players. We could have a massive splurge next season, get Douglas Luiz or Ismail Benasser or Houssam Aouar, get a left back and get someone like Messi. That would just transform our team. But getting Messi, that leaves Mahrez, for me, in the lurch. So let's have a look at some stats, okay? Let's have a look at some stats. Now, I put out a tweet a couple of days ago, showing some stats from 2017, 2018. And in those stats, Mahrez gets about 10 goals and assists for Leicester, okay? Let's look at the assists, sorry. He got 10 assists for Leicester. Now, in that list, City had the top 4 assists that season, okay? You had KDB, top of the pile with 16. You had Leroy Sané with 15. You had David Silva with 11. Raheem Sterling with 11 as well. Now, those were the top 4. And you'd expect that from City. That was the Centurion season. I think we scored 106 goals. So you think that's reasonable enough. Mahrez got 10. There's about 6 players that were on 10 assists, which is quite decent for Leicester, not fighting at the top. So you'd think if Mahrez was at City, he'd really been putting up some big numbers. If Mahrez can get 10 assists for Leicester, then you'd expect him to do a lot more at City. If you'd expect him to get somewhere in the Leroy Sané sort of level, or even KDB. It all depends how good and effective he is. Now, he's come to City. and he's not putting those numbers. He's not putting those numbers at all. If you look at last season's stats, just look at last season's stats, okay? Now, Mahrez has had 33 appearances. He got 11 goals, 9 assists, a combined 20. Okay, that's in his second season at City, a combined 20 for Mahrez. David Silva, he played 27 games. He got 6 goals and 10 assists. Okay, it's a bit low for David. Okay, we're not going to compare it against him. KDB, he was the man last season. 13 goals and 20 assists. Okay. And then you might argue he's played more games. He played 2 more games. He had 2 more appearances than Riyad Mahrez. Now, he probably had a lot more minutes. Mahrez probably had a few games off the bench. But KDB's putting in a combined 33. Mahrez is putting in a combined 20. Raheem Sterling, 33 appearances, same as Mahrez. 20 goals, 1 assist. And I've criticised Raheem for only having 1 assist. You look at someone like Gabriel Jesus, 34 appearances, 14 goals, 7 assists. Okay, the kid's only 23 years old. He's 6 years younger than Mahrez. Mahrez has had all that time in the Premier League. He's had all, he was the player of the season 4 years ago. Okay, so he should have done more. He really should have done more for me, And I asked some fans yesterday, who would you take, Sane or Mahrez? Everybody said Sane. Not a single person said Mahrez. And for me, I believe he's underperformed for City. Okay, now you'll get fans who'll come on and say Pep's against him, Pep's racist, and Pep's this, and he hates Africans. Forget all that. That's a load of gutter tripe. It's trash. Forget all that. Let's try and look. It's a mixture of objectivity and obviously my personal opinion. Now, I don't think he's done enough for City. We've seen time and time again he's greedy. People say he doesn't get enough passes. He doesn't pass to people when they're in good spaces. I remember the Carabao Cup game. Was it last season against Oxford? Was it last season or the season before? Anyway, Phil Foden was playing, and Mahrez was probably the most senior player on the pitch, outfield player. And Foden, I think, went outside him. Mahrez cut inside. And Mahrez had 2 players on him, I think, and Foden was free. Foden was running into the box free. Mahrez refused to pass to him. Refused. He took it on himself, lost it. And we're seeing it time and time again. We saw it, and he's not scoring enough goals. Okay, we saw it in the game against, I think it was Leeds. He had a shot straight at the keeper. Okay, the ball came back, and then the keeper made a save. Okay, but the first shot shouldn't have been straight at the keeper. You put it to one side of the keeper, I think you score. You're that close into the keeper, Riyad, and you score. The game against the last game we played against West Ham, he had one of the great things for Riyad is the way he controls the ball. He had a cross or a pass, I think, from Kevin De Bruyne. Mahrez didn't control it. Now, if he controlled it first time, he could have put that, or he didn't even need to control it. He should have crossed it first time, I think, to Sterling coming in, hopefully for a tap-in. Mahrez didn't control the ball. I think he was trying to control it, didn't control it properly, and have a shot. Okay. There was another time when he got a pass. I can't remember who made the pass, and he ended up near the touchline. Okay, near the goal line, and the player came in. Instead of looking to pass it, Mahrez took the guy on the goal line. Okay, and he took the ball out of play. So we're drawing 1-1. We're looking for a winner. Mahrez is being greedy. I've always said if you're greedy and it comes off and you score, fantastic. Yeah, we'll praise you to the skies. But if you be greedy and you don't pass when you should have done, okay, or you try and take too many people on, then you'll get criticism for it. And Mahrez is trying to take people on and failing far too often. And you can argue, some people argue he's a negative player. Part of that's the tactics we play. Tactics, it's a lot of passing, looking for that opportunity, looking for that overlap, looking for that overload, or even the underlap. But for me, 1-on-1, he's not doing the business. When he gets 2 men on him, he's usually quite impotent. He's ineffective. So for me, it's a massive disappointment. You're 29 years old. You should be at the peak of your career, and you can only get 20 goals and assists for City. As I said, you go back for a few seasons, that Centurion season when he got 10 assists for Leicester. You think, playing in a better team like City, playing in a better team like City, you should. People would argue, oh well, he only got 10 if he'd played in City's team where we scored 106 goals. He'd have got loads more. Well, he played in a City side last season which scored 102 goals, and he only got, was it 9 assists? It's not enough. It's certainly not enough. It's certainly not the numbers that we need. And sadly, I think we're going backwards as a team by buying players who aren't as good as the players who have left and aren't first-team players. For me, don't get me wrong, I wanted Mahrez when he came. I wanted him because I thought he could step up. I thought he could step up to another level. I was one that looked at his the way he played in the Leicester League title winning season and the numbers he put out in the season before he joined us. I thought if you can get 10 assists playing for Leicester, surely you'll get 13, 14, 15 assists playing for City because we are so attacking. We have so much of the possession, so much ball, so many better players. You'll get loads more assists, and it's just not worked out. So, for City to improve, we just have to get better. What's going to happen to Riyad Mahrez? To be honest, guys, I repeat what I said before. I think Ferran Torres is going to come through and possibly snatch his place. It might take time. Might take Ferran Torres a couple of seasons to get to the level that we think he might get to. Okay, but if we get Lionel Messi, I think that's spells the end for Riyad Mahrez, especially if we do a massive rebuild next summer. As I said, get Lionel Messi, get Houssem Aouar, get Ismail Benassa, for instance, or Douglas Luiz. If we get another attacking midfielder and Lionel Messi, I see no future for Riyad Mahrez at City. But who knows? He might prove us all wrong and turn it around. But after 8 games this season, and I know he had COVID, I understand all that. But if you're playing, you should be fit enough. And to be honest, if there was any issues with Mahrez and COVID, then Ferran Torres should be playing, who's fit as a fiddle. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse. You cannot use that as an excuse, sadly, because we've got other players who can play there instead. If Mahrez is not 100%, we should be using somebody else. 8 games into this season, I've not seen anything from Riyad Mahrez to show me that he's gonna do it. I can't see him doing the business this season for City. Look, I'd like to be proven wrong, but I don't think so. I think we're gonna see. I think it could well be, and I said this at the start of the season. I said it in pre-season. This could be Mahrez's last season at Manchester City. He'll be 30 years old at the end of this season. One last big move. Go back to Paris, PSG as a hero, Parisian boy, coming good, coming back. Maybe that'll happen. We'll just got to wait and see. Guys, let me know what you think about Riyad Mahrez in the comments section below. And let's try and keep it civil. We try and have a objective debate with some opinions, but we try and keep it clean and civil. Guys, if you're new to our YouTube channel, it would be fantastic if you could support us by subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. See you around, Blues.